Hello everyone, my name is Flora Qian. I'm happy that my novel, South of the Yangtze, has been selected as one of the finalists for the Proverse Prize 2022. Thank you so much to Dr. Gillian Bickley and Dr. Werner Bickley for founding the prize and for the recognition of the judges. The novel is a coming-of-age story of a young woman growing up in China from the 1980s to the early 2000s. Against the historical backdrop of the opening up in the 1980s, the political turmoil in 1989, the rapid economic development of the 1990s, and the SARS epidemic. The protagonist, Yinan, contemplates on the nation's ideology, tradition, and even its written language, and pushes the boundary of thinking which were restrained by these tools. Later, she decides to use English and eventually leaves her hometown. But what is the price to pay when adopting a new language and a new way of thinking? While liberation and frustration are often intertwined for an immigrant, what about the sadness that a future generation might never share the same imagination or sensibility, never truly connect with the lunar calendar and its poetry, being removed from the land where their ancestors have lived for over 1,000 years? In that sense, South of the Yangtze is also a love letter to my homeland. The novel was inspired by a trip I took with my husband 5 years ago in the Yangtze Delta area, where my family's roots are. South of the Yangtze, or Jiangnan, is often referred to as the land of fish and rice. But apart from its aquatic and agricultural offerings, many cities in Jiangnan have a rich history of art, architecture, poetry, and calligraphy. And before the state policy of prioritizing Mandarin in schools, variations of the Wu dialect have always been the native language south of the Yangtze. It is the knowledge of the region's cultural significance, its inevitable assimilation over recent decades, and the nostalgia for my childhood's day-to-day life in Shanghai that first gave me the urgency to write a novel set in the region. And later in 2019, being in Hong Kong, the deep emotions I feel for this city where I have lived for over 10 years led the story to evolve into a meditation of two related subjects: physical migration and the migration between languages. I hope you will enjoy my novel, and thank you again to Proverse Hong Kong, who granted me the opportunity to share this story with my readers and gave me the greatest encouragement as a debut author.